Hello, all, and welcome to the next episode. In this, we'll discuss the questions 81 to 90. So, let's get started. Question number 81 is basically about a crisis which happened in a country, and there are various things happening in geopolitics, and basically you have to be aware by reading newspapers, and these questions basically come on a current affairs level. For example, if this was set around 1718, so this crisis was fairly recent, so it was in news, and that is why it was there. And it's a very direct question, either you know it or you don't know it. When you try to guess, it can be tricky here, because the answer here is C, which will not come to your mind because you will feel that these countries are fairly stable, and you will perhaps go for option B here. But it's a fairly direct question, and that shows your level of update on the current affairs. So here the answer is C. The lesson to be learned in this particular question is that you have to be aware of things happening in the geopolitics. So basically, international relations is very, very important, and whatever is happening between countries, talks, conferences, maybe some kind of a civil war going on, any conflict at the international level which has an impact on other countries as well. So these all become relevant. The international groupings, they become relevant, and the dynamics between different countries, they become relevant. So all those things in international relations is not just what mains, but it's also such direct questions can come in this prelims exam. So that is why this geopolitics and these international relations is very, very important. Now, moving on to the next question. Now, this is a very direct question, and one thing you must understand is that on defense is a very important topic when it comes to civil service, and you have to know what are the different kinds of missiles, tanks, and weapons. Basically, what we have in India and what the other countries have. It's a very, very important thing, and you have to be updated because they keep on. It's a very dynamic thing. Like any technology, it keeps on changing. So here the answer is A, and it's talking about American missile defense system. And so what India has, what a similar to this, what India has, what our neighboring countries are having. So all those things become very, very important. And generally in prelims, you will see a direct question which will either ask, they will give a name or a jargon, and they will ask what exactly it is. So it's a very direct time-saving question, but of course, and the options they make very intelligently. So it's very difficult to guess in these systems, in these kind of questions. So be aware on what kind of a new missile is being tested, what kind of a new aircraft or tank is being launched by India and by major countries. And with the recent conflicts going on here and there, now again defense has come into the picture. It's very unfortunate what's happening, and we were perhaps looking at countries reducing their defense expenditure and giving more expenditure to education and health. But with the wars going on, it's a very disturbing fact that now more and more nations will go for more defense expenditure. It's very sad. So anyway, these are the things, direct questions on defense equipment. So this you should be aware of if you are studying the current affairs regularly. Question number 83 is about sustainable development goals, and who is the top ranker. Now, in this question, they should give this because this ranking is very dynamic ranking. So this keeps on changing, and in which year they are talking about this. So based on that, the answer will change. But as of now, it's Finland, and it has been Finland for quite some time. So here the answer should be C. And you should also read about all the sustainable development goals which are there, and they are very intelligently framed. And now the how good a country is, they are being judged on these SDGs. So of course, India, we have to do a lot to do good in these uh, goals, because we have other major issues. And if you see all these countries, these Scandinavian countries are are always on the top in all the indicators. And very interesting to read about these Scandinavian countries, the kind of priority which is given to education, the kind of spending they do on education and health, it's off the charts. And somewhere I read that in these countries, I mean, the teachers are one of the most respected professions and highly paid, same as the CEOs of various companies, stuff like that. So teachers basically should be the top paid, I think, employees, because that nurtures the whole young generation, and it's a very, very important role. And unfortunately, in our country, it's not happening by choice or by passion. It should not be happening as a last resort, that if nothing is working out, you're going into teaching. That should not be the case. The best of the people, the most passionate people on education, should be going into this field if proper incentives are given. So it's a very interesting debate. But if you're preparing for any civil service, you should read about all these sustainable development goals. They cover everything, right from water, food, aquatic life, everything is there in these goals. And you should read each of them, and where India stands, that is also what you should see. Now moving on to the next question. Now, what is Saraswati? Now, this is also recently in news. Now, if you go to the the literally, if you are to guess here, you will see the river linkage may be a possible guess here, because there were attempts to revive this river now, but it is not that. It is basically about the supercluster of galaxies discovered recently by Indian scientists, and that was named Saraswati. So that is why current affairs is so important, because many times these words are common between concepts, and the timing of framing of the question becomes very, very relevant. And in this case, the answer will be B. And you can clearly see that the way options are set up is also very intelligently done, and so to confuse you. And that is why you have to know exactly what it is and in which context this has been asked. So it is becomes very, very important. Moving on to question number 85, it's about loan waiver. And looking at the options 1, 2, 3, 4, it's clearly aiming at farmers and how these waivers impact farmers. So you have to think in that perspective. Now, first of all, if you look at the options, you see that 1 and 2 are everywhere. So you don't need to bother about 1 and 2. You can assume that they are correct, and you can thus you can save time. Otherwise, what will happen is people will whether this 1 is correct, whether this 2 is correct, they will spend a lot of time. So if you see the options before even reading the those 1, 2, 3, 4 options, if you see the ABCD options, 1 and 2 are everywhere. So you don't need to bother about that. You just need to see 3 and 4. So here all of them are correct. If there is a loan waiver, basically it's disrupting the credit culture. If every time there is a loan waiver, then it will keep on becoming NPAs. NPAs is not a good trend. And of course, I mean, all these does not impact the real sufferers, who are the laborers, because they are not essentially benefited by this loan waiver. So 4 is also true, 3 is also true, 1, 2 are true by default, so you don't need to go there. So all are true here, and the option will be D. Now moving on to the next question. Again, a direct question. If you have been following the news, it was in the news when it was first launched. So basically, it's a complaint system for the complaints by women, and it is made by the Women and Child Ministry. So it's not by Home Ministry. So that's the only correction here. So if you want more details, just Google it. You'll go to the portal and you can read about it. Basically, it's an online complaint management system where women can file complaints and then they are tracked by the respective agencies, and it is created by Women and Child Ministry. So the point number 2 is wrong, so only 1 is correct, so answer will be A here. Moving on to question number 87. Now again a direct question. You see defense. Now defense and all these questions from defense are very direct question. So if you know it, it is it's a plus, and it's a time saver as well. You are doing within 10 seconds you're just finishing one question. So it's a very important thing to know all these things. Here the answer will be A, and Google it, Wikipedia it, and read about what this unmanned tank is all about, why it was basically made, and who made it. All these things are also important. Question number 88 is about FAME India. Now here both of the statements are true, and why this question is coming now, and of course for the last 2-3 years this whole thing of electric vehicles is becoming more and more important. So you can expect more questions on this new technology. What are the companies which are making? What are the schemes of the government to promote this vehicle thing? What are the perks? What are the amendments in MV Act and all those related things? So you should read about this. It's a fascinating revolution which is coming, and hopefully in the next 10 years we'll see EVs everywhere. And it's of course a transition, and all the companies are launching models, and the future looks very good. And if this is possible, if we can replace all the vehicles by EVs, the vehicular pollution will be reduced to such a great extent, and the carbon footprint with everything going on, climate change and global warming, I think it's a step in the right direction, and the R&D and the technology is going in the right direction. So please read a lot about these EVs, because it's a very important topic in the next 3-4 years. And if you're going to attempt the exam in the next 3-4 years, definitely you can expect questions on this technology and the development. Question number 89 is about, again, a very direct question. What is this Korean plus cell? It is relating to the investment from Korea into India. They should specify the country. They should not simply have mentioned Korea. Anyway, so this is again a very direct question. What exactly is this cell constituted for? It is basically to promote FDI in India from this country, and therefore the answer will be C. Again, a part of if you are reading about international relations, you will read about these kind of bodies and these kind of cells which are formed. Question number 90 is about again, so in these 10 question episode, we have seen 3 on defense. So I could not highlight it more, the importance of defense and equipments and everything. So please be very careful on the developments in the defense side. It has become more relevant with the recent Ukraine ongoing conflict, and in the next 2-3 years I think a lot of focus will be on defense and the developments. So yes, it's a Scorpion and Scorpion class submarine, and second is also true. So again, if you see the options, 1 is true, so you need not debate on that. And basically this word is a local word for this tiger shark. And yes, it's a part of a bigger project to improve the submarine program in India called Project 75. So all are true, and therefore the answer will be D here. And so this brings us to the end of not end, we have another 10 questions to go, and hopefully this week we'll complete that. And with these 10 episodes, this discussion on MCS Prelims 1 paper will be completed. I will be taking these live streams more often, and I will also let you know in advance when I'll be doing these streams, so that you can be there. And there is an option of chat where you can mention your questions. So I think going forward, this is a good medium where I can use it to interact with the youth and directly address your questions. You can type in your question in the chat, and I'll be answering those as a Q&A, as a doubt clearing session, as a career guidance session, everything we can take it up using these YouTube live sessions. So I think it's a great medium, and I look forward to using it for the benefit of everyone. So with that, we'll end this episode. Keep watching and share these with those who are preparing. Like, subscribe, share. Thank you.